Okay, yeah, thank you. There you go, Dave. That's for you.
Awesome.
I'm trying to make it different every week. Hello, everyone. This is the Crafty Boys. We are Locke's in town, so that's good. And Dave's here.
That is awesome. I am here.
And we have some bad news. We had to cut some dead weight off the show, so Alan's gone. He's gone. We got rid of him. Just tossed that jerk to the curb. I mean, you know, it was his hairlessness.
No, yeah,
he's still got some. So there you go. So it's all good. But anyway, yeah. So we are. We're down to a member. He's actually off camping with his family and doing stuff. And my camera sucks balls, but that's okay. So Dave basically shunned his duties this week. The hell was that?
That was nothing.
Are you okay? Are you all right? Shunned his duties.
So excited over here.
And Locke said, "Sure, I'm in town. I'll pick a beer," and he chose one. So I'm hoping, Dave, that you got it.
Well.
Oh, nicely done.
All right, so let's all hold it up here.
Success, we're all in. Yeah.
So, I had to get the what the fuck was it called?
Yeah. Did you have to get something too? The mix thing, like has multiple beers in it?
Yeah. What's it like?
Yeah,
the hop,
so
hop, something or other. I don't know what the hell it was.
I don't remember, but basically, yeah. So Fernie Brewing, who's the target today, is basically they are selling this beer along with two other beers, which I do not remember the names of because we were focusing on this one.
The other was Lone Wolf.
The Lone Wolf. So basically, yeah, because apparently some other stores in town here had it, but we didn't feel like traveling, halfway across the city to go get it.
Fair.
That's absolutely we decided to get the mixer, which did include two of these, one for myself, one for Locke. And let's open up the Real Peel Grapefruit IPA at 6.4% alcohol per volume. You have to have at least 6% per 100 milliliters. And I can't see anything other. I see no other information. But basically, yeah, it's brewed with grapefruit peel. And I was just going to say, Locke has a story. Go ahead.
Right. So we have an old friend named Angus. And we were headed on over to his place, stopped out to pick up beer. And at the liquor store, the lady who was giving out samples had a bunch of this stuff, and she was down to her last one. And she pulled us over, and she was sort of cute.
Pulled us over.
Well, yeah, I mean,
she grabbed Locke around the neck.
She was
"You're
like,
coming to the counter.
Hey, look, we got a couple of studs here. Let's get those guys." Right. The next guy literally walked up, and she was like, "No, we're all done here." Yeah. So we got the last of it, and she was explaining that yes, it does indeed have grapefruit rinds in it. Sorry, grapefruit peel.
Grapefruit
Real
peel.
Yeah.
And so it was actually, and she had a bunch of others. I think we tried one more, but I don't remember what it was. But overall, this is apparently supposed to be the real deal. It's not like a mash. It's got the full pulp in it.
See,
and
the thing that I find interesting is right now there's this sort of like I think on the show I may have made mention of there's a craze for radlers right now, and I don't really understand why this is.
Radlers are for wimps.
It's gotten to a point where I saw literally somebody, I think it was Budweiser or somebody, had released what they were styling a lemonade radler. Excuse me, a lemonade radler? Have you never heard of a shandy? Like, anyway. But this is not a radler. What this is an IPA that makes use of grapefruit peel along with Citra hops as a
exactly.
bittering
That's
agent.
what I was looking for, because I remember the nice lady said it was Citra hops, and I couldn't figure out if this was actually on the can, which it is.
It doesn't
not.
say that it's Citra hops on
But
the can,
yeah, she did say it was Citra hops, which is adding to that.
I'm sure that she was well informed because she was cute.
Nice
lady at the liquor store if you're watching.
We give you a thumbs up because we went out and bought some of the product. So
anyway, so mission successful. Here we are drinking this stuff.
So what is your actually, Dave? I want to hear what you think of it first.
It's pretty bitter.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the most that we've had. I don't know.
I don't think so. In my experience, but I will point out that the grapefruit citrus, like they are slightly different than say an orange or a lemon. They have that there's something in it. I don't know what it is, but it gives you a I always call it sawdust feeling. When you eat an orange, even with if you eat some of the peel or you have something like, I've never actually felt that I had done that. Like I had eaten the thing, but it didn't have like a residue or an aftertaste that kind of stuck around a bit. Same with lemons. Lemons are pretty, they're there, they smack you in the face and they're gone. But then
there's something aromatic about grapefruits. Is that what you're
there's
saying?
something about grapefruits.
You know what's even more like that is Angostura.
Really?
Yeah. Angostura is a type of citrus. It is specifically the same thing. I think the word you're looking for when you're talking about grapefruit is that it's bitter. Now,
That's
Angostura is also bitter. Actually, in point of fact, it is what they make bitters out of. When you're drinking an old fashioned, you know how they put bitters in with simple syrup and whiskey, right? The bitters are made from Angostura, which is a type of citrus that nobody eats, but they were trying to figure out, well, what do we do with this thing? Because we've got tons of it. So they made bitters, and that's how bitters came to be a thing in cocktail making.
Interesting.
Yeah. So when you buy Angostura bitters, they always the original Angostura bitters always come, and originally this was just an accident, in a bottle where the label is too big for the bottle. Yeah, it's traditional. The bottle will be like so yay big, and the label will go up over top so it goes past the neck of the bottle.
Okay, that's
I
weird.
had no idea.
Yeah, that's a real thing.
I mean, I've heard of Angostura bitters. I've never looked for it because, well, bitters. But yeah, I had no idea.
I was actually reaching to try to find a product that would be like potentially a Locke and a Dave beer because it's got fruit in it, and I thought, well,
that's fair. That's fair. I appreciate, my friend, the fine effort, and I will make a bit of an effort to try the other two, just for the halibut.
Yeah.
And we'll see what those are like. Yeah. Hey, I freely admit I am a bit of a tough customer when it comes to the IPAs.
I will fight you in the parking lot about whether or not IPAs are good.
Well, no, I just they're just not one that I have completely and totally fallen in love with. But I've had some that I've enjoyed, honest to God, enjoyed. Yeah. Whereas then I would say, Locke, you're on the other end of the scale who perhaps has never met an IPA he doesn't enjoy. So, Now,
I have a question for you, Dave. Have you, I can't remember if we've done it on the show even, but correct me if I'm wrong, is Fernie not the same brewery that makes What the Huck?
I believe it is, Shane. I think that's right.
I think so, yeah. I actually have their website open here right now.
The Huckleberry beer. It's
I believe we did one of those. It was What the Huck, or
I think we've done it.
I actually do.
I may have missed that. I may have missed that one. I believe the week we did it, I couldn't get it. I had to get something different. Shane would probably be able to confirm the truth of that.
Okay, here we go. So on our spreadsheet, Fernie has made 2 appearances.
Mhm.
Java the Hutt
Coffee milk
milk stout. That was episode
I
101.
vaguely remember that one. Yep.
Slow Drift, which is the wit beer, that was in 113, and then the Sapsucker Maple Stout in 122. So
Okay.
So we haven't done What the Huck.
we have not done What the
Okay.
Huck.
All right.
I know. Well, here's the thing. I think that we had What the Huck in the discussion,
Mm,
and I'm not sure if one of us had it when it was not the beer for that week.
that would have been me.
I actually have written down all of the beers that we've had, that even if they weren't the focus of the show, if they made an appearance. When I went through all of the episodes a while ago, I did sort of make an effort to make sure that everything was right. I think it was only maybe 2 that I couldn't find information on, and it was a passing comment without the full name. And then I was like looking at, when is he going to pick up the can? No, it's in a glass. Damn it! So I might have missed a couple, but What the Huck was not one of those.
That would have been me.
So,
Beer in a glass.
but anyway, so yeah, so we have not done What the Huck, which kind of surprises me actually. We'll have to do it.
Are you suggesting, Locke, that that's a good one for us to try?
Yeah, I think it's a solid product. It's I wouldn't describe it as overwhelmingly fruity. It's kind of more malty, tangy, but
well,
it's a good recipe. It's one that I've been fond of, and I have drunk it on tap on many occasions, especially when in the interior of BC.
Well, for me, I'm good drinking syrup. So, like Shane and Alan, and probably yourself.
As in like syrup, as in like if you were to
something that's
I've never
sweeter.
run into a maple syrup that I didn't chug. Like, is that what you're saying?
No, that's going a little extreme, but I mean, compared to, I think particularly Alan would be willing to drink and consider a beer. I think he's got a narrower definition of beer, which is fair, whatever. But like, okay, Radlers, for example, I'm down with Radlers. Started drinking them when I was over in Netherlands, and they make a fine water substitute, let me tell you. I'm more with the Dutch style, which seems to me to be the lemon as opposed to the German, which is more the grapefruit. I find the grapefruit, it is a bit like what you're describing, Shane. There's something about grapefruit, and I'm not really a fan of it. It does something to my taste buds and stuff that I'm not a huge fan of. So I found the lemon easier to drink as a Radler. And I also consider, I think the Digesta Bourgogne, which is one that you chose, Locke, way back, that is probably still my number 1 that we've done on the show.
Okay, exciting. All right.
And that's, I mean, I don't know what you would think about that one, but I consider that pretty non-beer like. It's quite sweet, you know, for a beer particularly.
Yeah.
But I could drink
cherry cola kind of a
dozens. Yeah, totally. I could drink dozens of those damn things without a problem. I'm not sure that Alan would consider that a sort of a true beer in quotes. I don't know. Can't remember if we talked about that or not.
It is sort of an older, like, legacy recipe. Yeah. I mean, those. So that's sort of a Flemish sour, but a Flemish sour. The trick to that one is they take the beer in 2 different stages of its fermentation and mix them together.
Right.
So they get it when it's sort of still got some sugars, and then they get it when it's really all gone to a much sort of tangier, sour kind of thing. I obviously have not done the Storm Sour simply because they don't bottle it, at least not to my knowledge. But that one is sour. That's got a kind of a balsamic vinegar sort of
Whoa. Sorry,
Yeah.
what's it called again, Locke?
The Storm Brewing Imperial Sour.
Oh, okay. Right.
And it rings in at around 13-14%.
Hoy. I would imagine it's not a cheap bottle either, because I
It's
find
not a bottle at all.
sours can be. Oh,
The only places I've been able to get it. So Red Racer carried it on their taps, their guest taps, for a little while. And the one other place that regularly had it was the Alibi Room.
okay.
Before I leave town, I got to make a pilgrimage to the Alibi Room. I do like their room.
You know, the Alibi Room is actually the only place where I started to have a beer with breakfast because of your influence. You and I, I think the beer that we had was the Wrath of Khan 2 IPA of some sort, which I don't remember who made that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was totally worth it. And so ever since then, I have to admit that if I go to the Alibi Room and I have a beer with breakfast, so there you go. Which, thankfully,
interesting.
Breakfast of champions, my friend.
Yeah. Well, plenty of people have half a grapefruit with their breakfast.
Yeah, this is
true. So this, if it's there on tap, this would be a breakfast beer now. From now on.
There you go.
So, what has been going on in the world this past week? Pardon me.
I think for us, the big thing has been the fires. That's just locally. Yeah. Although apparently, I saw just to boot this out there. Apparently, there's an interesting little article about how some Washingtonians and I don't know who else is next door. Is it Idaho? No,
Idaho.
Just down south.
Of Washington? You mean Oregon?
No. Of us, not Washington. Because it goes Washington, and then you got to head east into. I know Utah's further south, so it's not that.
I'm not following. What, like, where? You're not describing this very well.
What's to describe? It's the state that's east of Washington.
Montana?
Is it Montana? Okay, there you
Idaho's
go.
right there.
Whoa, hold on.
It's close.
It doesn't go straight to Montana, does it? Oh, maybe it does. Yeah, because it's right. Montana's right underneath Alberta, isn't it? Yeah.
Anyways, it's kind of academic.
Hey, Canadians, we should know our geography.
Well,
yeah. Okay. So
there's
Washington
50 fucking states.
Yeah. Idaho and then Montana.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So because Idaho touches BC.
Apparently, some of those folks
Idaho touches BC
have been saying they should be fanning the smoke back to us.
I know Idaho is one of those states that you don't really think about being really anywhere but in Idaho. You know, it's you when you picture it in your mind as a Canadian, Idaho has potatoes, and that's about it. And also is referenced in The Simpsons. I'm Idaho.
Well, no, the only thing that comes to mind for
me,
but
it actually does. It's quite large. Like it's not.
It's my own private Idaho.
Yeah. Little B-52s for you.
Nicely done.
What was that? I believe that was a movie,
State
right?
Of Oregon border on Idaho, and Idaho borders on Montana and Wyoming.
Yes.
So,
anywho, Idaho maybe not so much, but Washington. Apparently, there has been rumblings that they should be fanning the smoke back up north.
Yeah, well,
because
quite honestly, you know,
the smoke has been so bad, it's been reaching down that far south, which I fully believe because it has been fucking stupid around here. I think we're still sitting at an air quality of 9 right now.
Yeah, we are. The Vancouver Health Authority, or whatever that group is called, just this morning put out okay, we're now at the maximum level of pollutants in the air. So this is the worst it ever gets, and if it gets worse, we have no scale to get to that. So yeah, it's pretty bad. It's a little better out in the valley apparently, but the smoke is everywhere.
Yeah.
I just gave you a link there, Dave. Excuse me. In the from the CBC about a whoops, I did not copy that properly. But basically, yeah, it's a photograph of the smoke cloud on August 15th, where it's crossing over BC. It's halfway, and actually, it's into Manitoba now.
You have got to be shitting me.
So yeah, and also going south. So we're seeing like the smoke going all the way into Idaho, going all the way into Montana, and it's apparently all over Washington State as well, and Oregon. So it is the worst. And actually, here we go. So here's actually the pollutant list, the list of sort of density. Sorry, the density of the smoke, and yeah, it's down into California. And it's all the way across. It's following the
but some of the fires are in California. Let's
yeah, okay, sure, yes, true.
They've got their own troubles, don't they?
Yeah.
So it's not again what Horrigan, our pseudo premier in this province, because he wasn't elected. I have no problem with him. I don't really know his platform at all because I don't really care, I guess. But he was saying this morning that that this is also the new normal for BC in general. That the forests dry out, they start on fire with lightnings.
I call bullshit.
Lightning strikes.
I call bullshit.
That the lightning doesn't exist.
That this is the new normal in quotes.
Well,
that's an abrogation of fucking responsibility.
Yeah, I'm with Dave on that one.
I can see that. I mean, I didn't vote for the guy, but so yeah,
nobody voted for the guy. If you want to split hairs,
well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying initially.
I got no beef with the dude. However,
that's what I'm saying is that he's not offensive. He's not like it's like, oh, so we changed leaders in this province. Oh, yeah, okay, whatever. That was kind of like the response to a lot of people in this province.
Well, hold on. Was Christy Clark elected?
Arguably, I guess, sort of, not really.
Oh, she was horrible.
Basically, all of this started when what's-his-face got a DUI.
Yeah, pretty much. Drinking and driving in Asia. No, not in Asia.
In
Hawaii. Yes, it was Hawaii. Yeah, my brain was like, it was in Asia. No, it wasn't. Yeah. So what can you do? Our province is actually kind of a weird history of the last, 10 years or so. Actually, no, the last 20 years it's been. Because when was the DUI? Was that like 2003?
Something like that.
I can't remember. But anyway, let's move on to nicer news and happier news. BC's craft beer market apparently is taking off in Asia, where pints can range all the way up to $25 per. So
I'm supposing that must be Fat Tug that would cost.
So 7 BC craft breweries have beers in the Asian Pacific region. In a beer market that's growing over there. Parallel 49 has launched in China. But I'm kind of curious, would you pay $25 per US per pint?
Wow. You know where I've seen that kind of behavior. You know what they'll pay for a Sierra Nevada in Cambridge?
No.
In England. Yeah, around about that figure.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Why? I'm trying to think of why.
Like
I mean, I can see the shipping
quid.
would be. Yeah, the shipping for a liquid in a container, that's going to be costly.
It's thoroughly daft because beer doesn't particularly ship well. If you want it overseas, the thing to do is to brew it there. Like I think one of the really smart things that the beer festivals in the UK have done is when they want to showcase North American product, they don't bring the product, they bring the brewer.
Yeah. Well, that's
Okay.
what. Well, I'm not. I mean, this is not really why. I'm actually. Maybe you know this. Why did Big Rock open a brewery in BC? What was the point?
Well, okay. First of all, Canada doesn't have free trade between provinces. You know that.
Yeah.
So that's an element. Two, as I said, beer is best when it's fresh. If you want to really showcase what you can do, doing it on location is the gold standard. So, on top of that, it's different than what many companies would do when they reached the level that Big Rock had. Big Rock could have gone into being, they could have sold out to a major. They could have become sort of one of those sort of middle range kind of players that, that get distributed like the big boys. And as a result, just come up with, something to compete with the big boys. So a bog standard lager that they market the shit out of.
Right.
Instead, Big Rock chose another path. And that, I think, is an excellent thing. I think that shows some initiative. It shows some character. I like the fact that the pattern they chose isn't one that's being done to death. Not every brewery immediately goes and, okay, we want to move into a new market. Let's open a brew pub in that market. That's not everybody's answer, but that's what Big Rock did, and I think it's cool.
It makes sense to me. I mean, we talked in the past about large breweries and things like that, and multinationals and whatnot, where they buy up brands and they brew it in multiple locations and things like that. So, like, was it Boddington's is like brewed in Chicago or something for the North American market? Oh, somewhere
might be
somewhere in North America.
Yeah, anyway. Well, and then there's that bizarre product that they called Guinness for ages. It was brewed in Quebec that tasted nothing like Guinness and was fizzy and sweet. But yeah, I mean, that's it's. I think it's. I think it's. I'm always up for seeing somebody doing something a little different than everybody else is doing it, just because that way there's more variety and the world's a richer place.
Totally.
Dave,
that'd be me.
I don't know if you've heard this. You had talked recently about wanting to move back to Victoria. Apparently, there's a group in Victoria that is trying to make a pitch to the city for changing the laws in the city to allow beer on the beach.
Okay.
So apparently, violators who drink alcohol in public in Victoria can face upwards of $240 for a fine. But I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that what is a fine in Vancouver for alcohol consumption?
Are you asking me? Because I don't have a clue.
I'll tell you what I see in that story. Like, I'm not worried about people getting drunk on the beach. That doesn't worry me in the slightest. What worries me is people getting drunk on the beach and then tossing their cans all over the beach.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
that's a problem.
I think if you're going to have a regulation, it should be a sensible one, which is to say that, yes, we have severe fines, but they're not for drinking. They're for littering. Right?
Right.
Go ahead. Drink your beer on the beach. Pick up after yourself.
Yeah.
Is that? I mean, to me, that's the biggest problem with any of these events is that we have the fireworks night or nights in Vancouver for years. And that's always been the complaint, that when 300,000 people descend upon the West End and Kitsilano and areas around there to see the fireworks, that they never ever, no matter how much the city pleads, please can you not pack out your trash? Please
don't plead, fine people.
Yeah, well, this is the problem. How do you, in a crowd of that size, how do you enforce a law like that? against people, because here's the problem. You have so many people that are leaving.
Ad terrorum. Scare the shit out of them. You only need to get caught once, and it's like $1,000 fine.
Oh, I like
Did you
it.
see those signs on the highways? I'm not sure if this is in Canada or if this is in the States. I don't recall. Littering is a $2,000 fine or some ridiculous thing.
Like I'm all for that. There's no excuse. Don't fucking litter. It's stupid.
I don't actually recall if I've ever littered in my life, because I've always been.
I'm the guy who goes around picking up other people's litter because it just seems so crass for the world to be all fucking chunked up like that.
Yeah, that's true. What about you, Dave? Are you a litter bug?
Oh, I'm the worst.
Really?
No.
You're out there you take your trash out of the kitchen, you slice it open and just shake it on the road. Like, is that how you work?
Oh, well, I'll take it. I'll get on the highway with the sliced open bag, and then I'll hang it out the driver's side and just let the shit fly.
You're a kidding. Badass, Dave.
I'm kidding.
Well, actually, around here, every spring we actually have there's this neighborhood cleanup where the city comes by and drops off extra big, huge garbage bags and things like that. And we go around and we pick up trash, and then you throw it in the bag and you sit it on the street side, beside the sidewalk, and then they come by like a day later and pick it up. We actually had, this is probably going back about 10 years. We actually had an engine. Somebody dumped an engine from a car on the street, like not on the sidewalk, not in the bushes, on the road. And then I guess drove off, and it sat there for, I don't know, quite some time. And we during that particular event, we actually had that and put it right beside the garbage bags with a note going, "This is trash." And they took it away.
Wow.
Yeah. So
kudos to whoever took it away, because goddamn, that must have been a bitch.
Well, yeah. I mean, these trucks show up, early in the morning. I think it's the following day. And take away whatever you've left on the street.
I would assume it's a standard garbage truck, though. No,
I would think so. I don't recall. I don't think I've ever seen one.
It probably cost them a small fortune, because you would have to get something to come out that's got a HIAB to be able to grab the thing.
Yeah, well, and that's
then
the
where
thing,
do you put it? You can't toss it in the fucking garbage. They won't accept a block in the dump.
Well, that's the thing, right? Is that we have a lot. I mean, because I live in an industrialish area, there are tons of. I walk, 15 minutes in that direction, and you start passing metal recyclers. So, excuse me, there is a lot of different places where people can drop stuff off. And I mean, in my building as well, we have a large garbage room that's meant for garbage and recycling, and we have a constant problem with people putting stuff down there and just abandoning it. Right? They just leave it there. And they don't. It's not something that they really should be doing, obviously. So, and no matter what signage we put up signs, we put up, where to take things, engine block, for example. If you have these things, you want to get rid of them. Here are the places you could take them. Don't leave them in the garbage room, because then we have to charge more and have property taxes and all that kind of stuff goes up, strata fees and whatnot. So it's kind of a pain. But yeah, I don't know. There seems to be a contingent of people in our society that don't seem to really give a crap, or don't really make an effort to clean up after themselves. I have a piece of drywall that I know of like 5 places, not too far away, that take drywall bits and pieces, because I bought a 2x2, 2 foot by 2 foot. Piece of drywall and threw it in to fix a hole in our ceiling of the bathroom, but I still have all this drywall left over, and I refuse to throw it out. It sits like it has its spot where it sits behind some appliance, and I know it's there, and if I ever decide to get rid of it, I will. But I have it in the back of my mind of like, well, you never know, I might have other holes to repair, because you never know. And it's not like it's like a 12 foot by 5 foot sheet. It's just it's this big, right? So
Still takes up room.
At the same time, I can't, I do know that I have to at some point, deal with it, but I know I have to take it somewhere. I know there's places that I have to go to drop it off, and the recycling depot, etc. There's all kinds of places.
Yeah.
But I know I've seen many people that have just dumped it down in our garbage room because they've done a renovation of some sort and they dump construction material down there, which they're not allowed to do, which is annoying.
Yes.
And which is why we put cameras down there. So anyone watching this podcast lives in my building. So yeah,
we's coming for you. Yeah,
we actually do when people go down there and find like large things that have been sitting there for a couple of days. The Strata does go through the camera and go, okay, well, who dropped it off? Right. And it's always, and this is the thing, always at like 2 or 3 in the morning.
Ah, yes. So they figure that they're good, right?
Like, what the hell? Come on.
Yeah. Wow.
Anyway, but the other happy news, by the way, in the world, aside from people trying to drink beer on the beach, is that there's a brewery called Brewdog that is opening a beer hotel in Ohio. I don't know what a beer hotel is.
Are we talking about the same brew dog from Scotland? That
is correct. They opened their first U.S. brewery in Columbus, Ohio in 2017. And the grand opening for this hotel is supposedly, actually, this end of this week. What's the date today? 22nd. So next Monday. They're opening the world's first beer hotel. For those who love beer... Those of the love beer will travel ilk, take note that each of the rooms in the Doghouse Columbus includes a mini bar featuring, you guessed it, Brewdog beers. For those that prefer suds in the draft form, there's a Brewdog tap room in the hotel as well. None of this beer is free, however, but the local Columbus coffee available in suite is. So there you go. A Brewdog, it's a hotel and brewery built in one. I mean, how could that be a bad thing?
Why is it in Ohio?
That's a very good question. Why did I don't know.
I should go there. I should find out. But
liquor laws?
I doubt it. Stone Brewing is also opening a hotel in Denver. The Brew House Inn and Suites is a former Pabst brewery. Pabst? Is that how you say that? Pabst?
Yeah, Pabst Blue Ribbon. I've never.
They're opening
the
a beer in Milwaukee.
Cheap ass garbage.
But there you go. So this seems to be a thing that's up and coming. So what do you say the Crafty Boys open up our own brewery hotel?
Done.
Like, how is that not going to be awesome? I can't see that being terrible in any single way at all. But yeah, Brewdog. What do they brew? What do we know what they have?
Thermonuclear Penguin.
They have a beer called Thermonuclear.
Thermonuclear Penguin. Yeah. Yeah. Look it up. The Thermonuclear Penguin is an ice beer of considerable magnitude. I think it comes in around at something like 40% alcohol. It's close to a big spirit. Yeah.
Okay, so here's their beer list. The headliners: Brewdog Punk IPA, Brewdog Dead Pony Club, Session Pale Ale, Jet Black Heart, Oatmeal Milk Stout, the 5 a.m. Saint, the American Red Ale, their India Pale Ale, True Independent Craft. That's their headliners of their 4 beers. The Amplified, which I guess beer turned up to 11.
Oh right, Elvis Juice. Elvis Juice was a serious case. He got sued over that.
Jackhammer, the Ruthless India Pale Ale, Cocoa the Coca Psycho, the Russian Imperial Stout, the Hazy Jane, seasonals. My suspicion is the Zeitgeist, the Idiosyncratic Black Lager, the Clockwork Tangerine, the Citrus Session Ale, and an Arvio. I don't know what I'm saying. The Red Rye IPA named Slot Machine. They don't seem to have.
No. Go to High Octane.
Oh, sorry, I missed that. Oh wait, actually, hang on. We're gonna go to Tuned first. Beers have explosive hoppy flavor, but are tweaked to amp up the inclusivity. Oh, these are the ones that are de-alcoholized. Oh, okay. Vagabond, gluten-free, and nanny state. Okay, they're not attacking people that don't drink. Okay. So here we go. So Tactical Nuclear Penguin, the beer for the dickheads. What does that say? It's too small. Beer for the initiated or beer for the dedicated. And the Paradox Islay, the whiskey cask age imperial stout. Ice distilled beer at 32% alcohol by volume. Holy shit.
Yeah, sorry, not quite 40%, 32%. Yeah, all right.
Wow.
Wow. The small batch one-offs. Albino Squid. I Want to Be Your Dog. The Choco Libre. Make Earth Great Again. Make Earth Great Again is a robot monster of Trump being attacked by what looks like a grizzly bear
awesome.
or a wild cat. Wow. That is kind of awesome. Oh my god, they have another section. Abstract beer? Okay, so they have like beer that they make that are designed to be aged. All right, cool. So there you go. So basically, I'm sold on going to stay in their hotel. I don't know what I'm going to do in Columbus, Ohio. I'm not even sure where the hell Columbus, Ohio is. I'm sure it's in Ohio. Yeah, there it is. It's in Ohio. Okay.
Shit, it's a lot closer to Detroit than I thought.
Yeah, actually, I drove.
What the hell?
I went up.
Okay, how can it be? So it has borders with BC and with Ontario. That's how fucked up.
Not BC.
What?
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm thinking of Idaho. Never mind.
No,
sorry,
Ohio,
I'm confused.
Borders with BC and Ontario. That's some state. I can see Ohio taking over Indiana, rolling through it.
Oh shit. Okay, yeah. So basically, yeah, Columbus, Ohio is spitting different distance from both Chicago and Detroit. Yeah, you could see why you might go there.
Well, it does look like a very cool place. You know, it's
well, it looked a lot cooler before you went into the Google,
the Google Street
walk
View.
around.
Yeah, not so cool now. But yeah, I mean, here you go. I mean, Columbus, Ohio has been around for a long time. So why the hell not? It's sort of central to the east. Why not set it
And
there?
you can go to other places from there.
Exactly. We're in Ohio. Great. Where are you going? Anywhere but here. Oh, there goes all of our Ohio listeners. Alberta's beer sector is being hit by the tariffs coming out of the U.S. Companies using aluminum and steel. So basically, again, we're being hit everywhere across this country. So, you know, beer prices are going to go up in some cases, I think, because aluminum for cans is so expensive. Right. But who knows? Whatever. I thought
wait a minute. Is doesn't Canada have massive aluminum reserves?
I think we would exploit
we spawned one of the world's largest aluminum companies. It got sold to the French, I think. But did it not get sold to the French?
Alcan was purchased in 2007 by an Australian-British multinational called Rio Tinto.
Oh, okay, all right.
Becoming Rio Tinto Alcan in 2008. They are headquartered in Montreal in its Maison Alcan complex. You know, I gotta say that there's one thing about Canada that always irks me, is how we don't. Okay, for example, why do we in this country chop down trees and give them to other countries so they can make furniture to sell back to us?
Yeah,
I mean that's a pretty light example, but
but you're absolutely right. And in a word, it's because we're dumb.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: is that I mean, granted.
Look. What did Stephen Harper call us? Hewers of wooden drawers of water.
Oh yeah.
What a dick! Fuck that guy.
I think that's older
you
than
heard it here
him.
first. I am running for the prime minister position of this country as of when's our next election? Federally?
Well, so I think you'll find that Trudeau just declined to have an early election, so it'll be, I don't know, probably
2020.
Yeah, I can't remember. I can't remember what. I don't know.
So how do I get from being Joe Schmo no one to becoming a powerhouse in politics in this country? I think that I have to
Start municipally.
Right. Okay. Cool,
you want to be mayor? Go
Okay.
somewhere small. Be mayor.
All right.
From once you've been a mayor, getting
right.
into provincial politics is the next step.
Okay, so I'm googling smallest town in Canada. Tilt Cove.
So maybe somewhere in Newfoundland and Labrador.
There we go. I'm running for the mayorship of Tilt Cove. Population 4. Has a population of 4. Where the hell is this located?
It's got to be Newfoundland. I'm going to guess Newfoundland.
It is in Newfoundland. Yes, no, it is. I'm just kind of curious.
It makes you wonder. In Tilt Cove, you wonder which one of the 4 is the mayor.
Here we go. So Tilt Cove. There we go. So it's right next to Loon Pond. So I'll be very. So there it is.
Hey, this is the province that gave. Oh no, it's not the province that gave us dildo. I believe that's Nova Scotia.
I think that is Nova Scotia. Yeah. So how the hell did Tilt Cove?
As a political move, I think it might be. I think Dave called that one. Yeah, you might want to try Dildo, Nova Scotia.
Okay,
you become mayor of Dildo, Nova Scotia. That's automatically, there's some diversity in that.
Dildo, Newfoundland. There you go. Right next to Harnham Point. So there we go. That is where I'm going. Oh, it's on the same island anyway. So that's where I'm going. Dildo. I kind of want to know what's the population of Dildo, Newfoundland. So let's see. Looking up Dildo, Newfoundland. This is a really family-friendly show. You can tell.
Is it Newfoundland or Nova Scotia?
No, it's
Did I get that wrong?
Dildo is got a population of 1,100. So there we go, 1,200. So I am running for mayor of Dildo, Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, whatever. And yes, therefore, then I'll move on to directly into the leader of what party should I lead?
Go Tory.
Go Tory. Okay, so I will now take over. Oh no.
Yeah, well, you don't need any credentials for that.
No.
That's a good point. I haven't thought of that. Hey, I don't have any credentials for that, so I'm in. So there you go. So basically, that is how. By the time I become prime minister of the country, I will personally take responsibility for making sure that we know how to chop wood, build furniture. What else?
Carry water.
Make our own aluminum cans. What else?
Yeah, let me see.
What else is important to the Canadian way of life? Oh, making our own canoes. Paying a high tariff on imported canoes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh wait, am I going protectionist? Yeah.
Maple syrup. Yeah! Maple syrup. We have to protect our maple syrup production.
Protect the maple syrup. Because it wasn't last week or the week before, the Saudi government actually impounded a shipment of 3,300 liters of maple syrup into their country. Because apparently, here's the thing. I have not been following this story at all because there's really, what are we all going to do about it? Who cares? Is that for some reason the Saudi government is mad at us because we said, kind of imprisoning people and executing them for speaking their mind is not really cool. And then apparently we were assholes to the Saudi prince, and therefore we are now jerks to Saudi Arabia. So they've banned our products, and aren't they forcing all Saudi students in our country to return to their home country?
I think they're forcing students within 4 to 6 months to get back to Saudi.
To go back to Saudi Arabia,
because the students that come here do so on the Saudi dime, government dime.
By the way, Dildo, the town in Newfoundland, actually has an island off the not too far from them called Dildo Island. So there you go.
Uh-huh.
You know, all this talk about Dildo, Nova Scotia. Oh my God, I keep doing that. Newfoundland. How am I going to win the election now? Have you been watching the development of AI and sex robots?
No.
Well, if you've been on the internet for more than 5 minutes, you'll have noticed that there is this product called a sex robot, where basically it's a full-sized human being, although I have noticed they have smaller versions, which is creepy. But anyway, but basically, yeah, so these robots are used, they're not robots, there's dolls that are used to enhance the pleasure of lonely people that choose to have a fake person to have
How
sex
can
with.
they enhance the pleasure of lonely people
without
enhancing the loneliness?
Well, here's the thing. The big, huge thing going on in that industry is they are now putting rudimentary AI into them where they talk to you. And they talk to you about politics. I suppose apparently there's some sort of thing where they're one of the companies was
oh my God, a sex doll that spews Fox News. Holy shit.
Well, it talks to like Google News or Google Assistant and whatnot. But here's the thing: is it also
Siri?
talks
I've got
to you
some ideas for you
during
this evening.
exactly. But it also talks to you during intercourse, saying things like, harder, do me. But here's the thing: were I ever to have sex with a doll, which I don't, God, I hope I never do. The part of this is like, why would you want to interact with it to that level? But again, according to the news article on the CBC, was about how people were talking, or how people are getting over mental stress and anxiety by interacting with a reasonably human counterpart. And speaking of the CBC, they were partnered in a series with the BBC about this whole industry. And my favorite thing was the BBC, I think it was on BBC 4, 3, whatever the documentaries are on. And this reporter went around going to these different companies talking about basically the hardware of these robots, of these dolls. But the thing is that a couple of years prior to when he did this story, and I don't know how this happened. I looked him up trying to figure out how, but the reporter lost an arm because of a train he fought with a train. Like he somehow got hit by a train. I don't know how. I could not find the information, but he had a prosthetic robotic arm that had like some, he was able to control it with his brain and
what the AI now
allows
it.
So no, it was his.
The AI can get it to jerk.
No. Actually, he didn't ask that question. But actually, he had a real problem with this whole sex doll industry because he didn't quite get it. He understood, that he lost an arm due to an accident. So having a prosthetic arm was something that, it made his life easier. But the fact that people were using prosthetic people essentially as an extension of that idea,
because they lost their minds and can't relate to humanity anymore?
Well, quite honestly, that's sort of my opinion. But I'm going to try and be more sympathetic to people who buy sex dolls. I mean, actually, one of the things that was in this
whatever
BBC
kink you're
thing,
into is fucking cool as far.
Well,
as
yeah,
I'm concerned,
one of the things that the was if couples want to bring a third party into their bedroom, but they're not ready for the jump of another human being.
Yeah, I'm
they're
with you.
buying these things, which are not cheap. They're like at least $5 or $6 grand Canadian for the bottom models. Like I don't know. We could go to their website and check it out. But
so the tops would be a bit more a ticket.
Dave. But yeah, so essentially, yeah, there's situations like that, or but again, because by default we instantly go to the really lonely crazy people in their back 40 somewhere. But again, who's buying? Who's dropping 15 grand?
Of these things, and I'm gonna arm them with tiger torches, and we're gonna go on a hunt. And take over the fucking planet.
the prosthetic
I'll be
guy.
like, it'll be like a robotic version of Gaddafi's, like, of his elite
female
guard.
ninja elite guard. The one thing was that the part of the story this guy was covering was it wasn't just the female bodies he was doing the talking about what they do to them, what kind of AI they're trying out. One of he went to visit this woman who tests sex dolls, male sex dolls. So
they make male sex dolls.
He shows up to her place.
What?
Hang on. He shows up to her place. The male sex doll had been delivered, the day before. She had not taken it out of the box yet. So she's watching. He's helping her put this thing together. This male sex doll, and then they attach the penis, which is this gargantuan thing, and
then they attach the credit card.
And then he leaves. He's like, okay, well, what do we do now? And she's like, well, I will do what I get paid for, and then you'll come back in an hour. Okay. So he comes back an hour later. No, they didn't film that. No. So they showed up an hour later, and the doll was still laying where they'd put it together, but the penis was different. She had actually taken one of her dildos and attached it to the doll, because she said it was too big. It's just like, why any woman would want a penis this size is just insane. So she had a reasonable size penis on it, and then proceeded to give her review of how this sex doll performed. And she said it was really kind of boring because you're staring at this face that has no emotion. So that led into the conversation about the AI, right?
Look, we all know what men, the market for male erotica is all visual. It's, pictures. Walk into any used bookstore and you will find a room full of Harlequin romance. So what I'm wondering is how are they going to get this sex doll to address the female market without it? I mean, I guess maybe this is the AI question: is how are we going to get this male sex doll to make dashing remarks, be sort of clever and funny in a sort of macho and
debonair
kind of way, and how are we going to get him to to be sensitive one moment and then cold and aloof the next? I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
I have your answer right there, Harry Flashman.
Oh, well, there we go. There we go. Yeah.
This is the doll they should make. They should make that's what they should make right there. Dress him like that. Here's the thing. The one thing I found very interesting about the whole sex doll thing is that none of them came clothed, that they were always nude. You had to supply clothing. And I thought, well, why would they not be costumed of some sort? Oh, that was the other part of the BBC thing, is brothels in London are actually buying these dolls to, when a client wants a doll, they call the brothel. They say, I'll be there at 3:00. I want this doll, they pick from the list, and I want it to be dressed this way. So they actually went through the process of the guy who owned the brothel. He was like, okay, they brought the doll out, they put it on the bed, they put some, he had fresh clothing he had just purchased, he put it on the doll, and that was it. And then he gave a list of the things they were allowed to do to the dolls and things they weren't allowed to do to the dolls, which is basically you break it, you buy it kind of thing. And it was very interesting just to see that these brothels are answering this need, which I would never have thought existed. But again, masturbatory tools have been around for a bazillion years.
Sure.
But this is just kind of an extension of that. But even the brothel guy was, and the husband and wife team that are building these dolls with AI in them are like surprised. Here's the thing. This is the best part. The guy who is building these AI dolls is lending them to brothels to test them out, to actually get feedback on how the dolls perform. And the best part is that he is the designer of the body. He does this. He does the initial prototypes of the silicone and all that kind of stuff, or whatever they use. And it's his wife that does the AI. She's actually sitting there programming
these things in danger of putting the oldest profession out of work?
That question did come up. Like, will there be a time where humans will be satisfied enough with sex dolls to not require a real person. And the brothel guy said, you know what, really, I hope so. Because, you know, there are downsides to the industry. We have negative things that have been around for a long time. You know, that if you land in the wrong place, you get abused, you get taken advantage of, all these sorts of things. And where the dolls are not real and they are able to facilitate the need of the client.
Well, there's some equality for you.
So, you know, I found it quite fascinating because it's one of those things that just kind of turns your mind a little bit going, because then I instantly, after watching this thing, I instantly thought of that movie, the film, actually conveniently called AI, the Steven Spielberg one. And the entire idea behind the show is that the lead robot character escapes from wherever he is.
Yeah, I remember.
And winds up with basically discarded sex dolls, sex robots that are androids, actually, I guess. But the same thing actually happens in Blade Runner. A couple of the characters are androids who are basically sex slaves. So, you know, this is the thing. It will happen. I am surprised it's happening quite the way it is. Like, I could see somebody with some sort of anxiety, like a huge anxiety about interaction with a human being, in a romantic sense, maybe turning to a doll because their entire world can be fictionalized and they would feel comfortable about it. I would be worried about that sort of situation. But again, there was a film called Lars and the Real Girl, I think.
Yeah, Lars and the Real Doll. Yeah.
The Real Doll. So, I mean, it is being talked about it, but again, I'm surprised just how quickly. Like, Dave, if you went for the next 50 years of your life without female or male, whatever floats your boat, romantic attachment, would you, like, you know, turn around and, you know what? It's just not happening for me for the real interaction. I haven't found the right person. So, but, you know, these dolls are attractive. You know, I could use one as a backup for a while or something. Like, would you, like, I don't see myself doing it. I just don't see the appeal, but I don't know. Maybe other people, maybe I'm just weird.
Well, I suppose part of it is never say never.
I think the question is,
I would say no.
Okay,
I would say no.
To me, what this highlights is the question of whether you really, really, really can divorce sex from companionship. Because, like, I've had a lot of very meaningless sex over the years. And, you know what? I would say that at this point, I would say that getting those two bundled, I think is more valuable than either on its own. Companionship I can get from a cat, no problem. Sex I can get myself because I know how. But when you're having sex with someone who is also a companion, something kind of magical happens there. Like, I don't think that's going to go out of style somehow.
Okay.
I don't think it can, because I think what you're talking about speaks to something that is a lot deeper than most people are willing to admit or perhaps understand. That connection between that companionship and that basic biological need, you know, partially. And yet I do think that the sex, when it's married to the companionship, opens doors to something that you basically alluded to, that it's a lot larger than either of those on their own, you know. Not necessarily explainable either in the rational mode, but then humans are not rational. As much as we like to fool ourselves
into believing we are.
Who's going to be able to find a sex doll that can cook dinner? It's true. Now, hey, but this actually brings up again, my theory that once we invent holodeck technology, that our society is finished. Because once we can all access our own holodecks and create our own worlds to the point where they're indistinguishable from the real world, we're done. Breeding will come to a screeching halt, and we will be completely wiped out of this universe.
I don't know if we'll be wiped out of the universe, but I guess you could look at Ready Player One as an example of what you're talking about.
I suppose.
Where the world is basically a shithole and everybody has all their fun and their good times in this simulated environment.
True.
I still have to watch that movie. I haven't watched it yet.
I would read the book first.
See it?
Read the book
I've read
first.
the book. I read the book.
Okay, yeah. The book and the movie aren't really connected.
Oh.
They're connected up until about 15 minutes in, and then it diverges entirely. There's actually, if anyone cares, there is a video that I just watched a few weeks ago from one of those movie channels, whatever they're called, called "What is the difference between the film and the book?" Allison has not seen the film, and she watched it with me, and she doesn't want to see the film now because it's so incredibly different. Oh yeah, the book is nothing like the film. Now, that's not a slight against Spielberg creating it, because one of the major reasons they had to do that was licensing problems. They had the licenses to a lot of stuff, but not everything. And some of the things they didn't have were actually kind of crucial to the plot of the actual structure of the book itself. So,
well, apparently Spielberg was a large part of the reason the damn thing got made in the first place.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean,
he unlocked doors that they wouldn't have been able to unlock on their own.
Oh, exactly.
That's what I've heard.
Like, there's.
And I have to say, I saw it on the plane on my way out here, and I thought that it was. I have not read the book, but I thought it was totally classic Spielberg.
It was very classic Spielberg. The one criticism that I do have of the film, outside of it being nothing like the book, is there's a scene at the very end where the lead character is having a conversation with another lead character, Simon Pegg, and the actors that were playing the supporting cast were in the shot, but it was like they didn't know what they were supposed to be doing, and they were kind of doing that very Spielberg thing where there's two characters or three characters having a conversation, and the background characters are just kind of coming to sort of eavesdrop, to kind of listen in and sort of be there. These actors, I don't know what the direction was, but it felt very much like at some point Spielberg was like, I don't know, just stand back there for do a count of 10, then kind of creep forward, and that's exactly what they did. They like they kind of crept forward, but they weren't. It was obvious they didn't. I mean, there was two actors in that group that you knew exactly. They had no idea what they were supposed to be doing. They were just kind of, I'm just here in the scene, And it distracted me to the hell. I was looking at it going, why are they doing that? What the fuck is going on? And but overall, I mean, if you haven't read the book, I do not recommend seeing it. If you have read the book, I do not recommend seeing it. However, that said, if you still want a decent Spielberg romp, go and see it. I mean, there's no reason not to. Just know that there's about 10% of the book in the film, and the rest of it is just what they had to do to make it work for them. So, but yeah, for example, Dave, the very first part of the book, for like the first third of the book, is the main lead going to school on a school planet. Yeah, that's not even there's none of that in the film.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, so a lot of the really cool stuff and the sort of leading you into the world and actually introducing you to what goes on in this virtual reality versus what's going on just gets pitched. So, but again, that could have been an entire. I mean, you could have turned. I mean, you could have pulled a Peter Jackson and made this book into 3 films, because there's 3 different challenges that they have to do to get to the end.
Do either of you know anything about Peter Jackson's next one, Mortal Engines?
want to see it badly because I love the trailer. I know it's a comic series of some sort.
Do you know when it's due out?
I think November.
November. Oh,
Yeah.
of this year.
I think so.
Oh wow.
But hey,
I know nothing of this. I need to be watching the trailer.
Mortal Engines is the title of a Stanislaw Lem.
Ooh, I'm sold already.
So the Mortal Engines Quartet is a series of 4 novels written blah blah blah.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Is this a different Mortal Engines?
This is what I'm wondering because I don't think it's the same thing. I want.
Oh, maybe he's not doing Lem. Oh, that's too bad.
No. Hang on.
I could see Jackson doing Lem.
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing: is I think that the film is based on what we're thinking of. December 14th of this year.
14th.
But what is it based on? Based on where? No, it's based on the Philip Reeve books.
Oh, okay. All right. So this is totally different then.
So, but yeah, I mean, this is basically the whole thing is everyone in the world lives on these large machines that travels the Earth. Entire countries is the idea. England is over there. Like, oh my God, quick, Canada, turn right. That kind of thing. I guess I'm just guessing. Hugo Weaving, a bunch of other actors you've seen is in it. But there you go. So
the trailer does look totally crazy. So
it looks insane,
and that's actually kind of exciting because if it means if he's not making Lem's Mortal Engines, then it means somebody still can.
Until next week, my friends, when the Crafty Boys starts for day 1 of filming of that. Anyway, I just looked at the time. Like we've been going for way over an hour. So
yeah.
But thank you everyone for watching. I certainly hope that you guys will go and check out Fernie Brewing's Grapefruit IPA, the Real Peel Grapefruit IPA. Very, very good. We also have been enjoying the Lone Wolf IPA, which came in the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Dave, try it. Other than that, I miss Alan not being here. So Alan is gone he's actually going to be gone next week as well. So it'll just be us again.
Yeah.
But I will see you all next week. And Dave, I don't know what you're going to do, but take us out.
Oh, geez.